Okay, so there's this huge shift happening in AI right now. It's a change that promises to make these powerful tools way faster, a whole lot cheaper, and more accessible than ever before. But how are they doing it? Well, the answer is kind of surprising. They're making AI a little bit sparser.
You know that feeling, right? You feed a large language model a giant report or a big PDF, and you just wait and wait. It just grinds to a halt. It's a super common frustration, and honestly, it's a huge roadblock for what AI could really be doing.
So what's really going on here? The whole reason for this slowdown, the core of the issue, it all boils down to one single process happening inside the AI's digital brain, and that process is called attention.
All right, to really get why this is such a big deal, we've got to pop the hood and see what's going on. Let's dive into what's known as the attention bottleneck.
Okay, so the way most AIs work today is with something called full attention. Now imagine this. To understand a sentence, every single word has to look at every other single word in the document. It's like you're in a crowded room, and to understand the main conversation, you have to listen to every single side conversation all at the same time. Yeah, it's completely exhausting, and it gets out of hand really, really fast.
And this leads to a problem with a kinda scary-sounding name, quadratic complexity. But don't worry, the idea is simple, even if the result is, well, painful. It means that if you double the length of the text, the AI doesn't just do double the work. Oh no, it has to do 4 times the work. If you triple it, 9 times the work. The amount of processing just explodes.
So, just how bad is it? Get this. According to the folks at DeepSeek, when you're dealing with long documents, this attention thing can take up 70 to 80% of all the processing time. It's not just a bottleneck. For all practical purposes, it's the entire problem.
But what if there was a smarter way to do this? A way to pay attention without getting so bogged down? Well, that's where DeepSeek comes in with their really cool solution. And it's all based on this idea of sparsity.
And this quote from Ekaterina Almazkej just nails it. Basically, you cut out things that you think are not important. That's what sparse attention is all about. It's about being selective. Think about it like an airline. They don't calculate a route from New York to every single city on Earth just to find a flight to LA. They just look at the reasonable ones. It saves a ton of time and energy, right? Well, sparse attention does the exact same thing, but for words. So in their research paper, DeepSeek laid out this perfect world version called Native Sparse Attention, or NSA. And it's this really clever 3-part strategy. First, it compresses big chunks of text into little summaries to get the general idea. Then, it cherry-picks only the most important original blocks to really read closely. And on top of that, it has this sliding window that keeps a close eye on the stuff that just happened. It's just a really smart way to focus its energy where it matters most.
And people in the community definitely noticed. I love this comment from a Reddit user who called it a triple whammy. And they're totally right. It's not just one neat trick, it's the combination of all 3 that makes this whole thing so powerful.
Okay, but here's something really important to understand. That NSA thing we just talked about, that's the dream version, the one you'd build from the ground up if you had all the time in the world. But that takes, well, a lot of time. So to get this out the door faster, DeepSeek released something called DSA for their new model. Think of it as a practical version that's adapted to work on a model they already have. It's a smart shortcut to get these speed boosts into our hands, like right now.
So all this new, faster tech is great, but it brings us to the big question. What does it all mean in the real world? What do we gain? And what, if anything, do we lose? In other words, what's the price of all this speed?
Well, on paper, the gains are, wow, just staggering. The research on that ideal NSA version showed huge speedups. We're talking over 11 times faster decoding. That's the part where it actually writes new text. That is a massive, massive leap in efficiency.
And that's not just theory. It translates into real money. When DeepSeek released their new v3.2 model, the one using the practical DSA method, they slashed their prices. I mean, they cut the price for input tokens by 50% and output tokens by a crazy 75%. Suddenly, this powerful AI becomes way, way more affordable for everyone to build with.
But here's where the plot thickens. The official word from the company is that you get all this speed with, and I quote, no substantial performance degradation. But when you look at what developers are saying online, you get a different picture. The feedback is all over the place, from a teeny bit dumber to, for some people, it is unusable for me, sadly. And this isn't just a vibe thing either. We've got some data. Check out this benchmark a user posted on Reddit. In this one reasoning test, the older model, the one with full attention, got 18 answers right.
The new, speedy, sparse model, it got 4. That is a pretty stark difference and really highlights that there might be a real trade-off here between how fast it is and how well it can reason.
So where do we go from here? What does all this mean? This whole back and forth between raw power and pure efficiency. It's not just about DeepSeek. This is a sign of a much bigger trend happening across the entire field of AI. And I think this quote from Nick Patience really sums it up. He says, "Efficiency is becoming as important as raw power. For so long, the AI race was just about who could build the biggest, baddest model, costs be damned. But now the rules are changing. Being efficient, being affordable, being accessible, that's suddenly just as important as being the absolute smartest." And that really leaves us with a fascinating question to chew on. What's the future of AI really about? Is it about being the absolute smartest model in the room, no matter what it costs? Or is it about being smart enough for everyone, everywhere, to actually use it?
Thanks for watching. If you found this video insightful, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to watch more videos like this, and share it with others. Till next time, bye.